Money-SMTN.
Hey guys, it's Gab, Mew, and Spencer here with Shin Megami Tensei Network for episode 203.
I like the enthusiasm you gave for that. Hi everybody, this is Spencer. Gab, you gave the enthusiasm of like you've been hosting MTV Spring Break and it's the last day of Spring Break and you're really done with hanging out with all these drunk teenagers.
That honestly, okay, I wish I could say that's the first time I've heard something like that, but when I'm relaxed, people always say stuff like, she just sounds like she doesn't want to be there. And I'm just like, guys, what are you talking about? I'm fine. It's just, that's the way I sound, I guess.
It's
I just sound disappointed with life existentially.
You're preparing yourself at all times to be let down. That way that you can make it through life happy.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh my gosh. Boy, on that downer, how can we not start the show? Hi, everybody. So, today, as you can tell, not a lot of news. So, I brought Gab here to kind of just, like, shoot the shit, answer a couple questions, talk about some books. As we mentioned before the show started, it has been 8 months since you were on the show. You were back on in May of 2012. So, in that time, obviously, nothing has happened. The world's been completely boring in the last 8 months. What have you been up to? What have you been doing differently? What is new with your life? Like, where were you in May compared to now? Like, what are some of the big changes in the last 8 months in your life?
I'm trying to think of what I would have said last year in May. I feel like that would have been like 2 months after I quit my job originally.
Yes, that was like one of the things we talked about, was you leaving your job.
Yeah, so I left my job and I've been doing content creation pretty much like full time since pandemic, because obviously there's not much else to do, and this was always my creative outlet. So I'm pretty much okay with like staying inside, because I'm pretty like I guess the term for it is agoraphobic, and yes the doctor said that, not me. I just someone who is completely okay with spending a lot of time indoors. So the pandemic, in that sense, hasn't really changed my lifestyle, to be honest.
So, I guess, like, I know this kind of gets into a question for it, but I guess without getting into specific pandemic games you were playing, what have you been playing recently? Like, I think the last time I talked to you about games, it was either Minecraft or Senua. So, like, what have you been playing?
Brief moment, have to locate games list to see what I beat last, so I can tell you what I beat last and what I actually am playing, like, just for fun.
Minecraft Story Mode on Netflix.
So, the last few games I beat, I mean, I guess I was talking to you about Sakuna last time, so I beat that. I beat a PC game called Rainy Day, Raido Kuzunoha, which I reviewed on my channel, and Omori. That was about it for, like, RPGs or story-based games. And then, of course, I've been playing Minecraft a lot, because I just actually made a realm, so I'm looking for people to join it. I have like 8 spots available, so if you're interested, just message me, please.
So, I got a weird Minecraft question for you. As you can tell, big Minecraft community crossover with SMT fans. But I'm in this weird spot where, like, like 2020 was kind of a big resurgence of Minecraft again. Like, It's definitely given me the itch, because I haven't played since, let's say, 2011, 2012, maybe at the latest. And I've had this weird itch of, I really want to play it, just like kind of dick around with it, like have fun, like single player stuff. But like, all of my all of like Mary's nieces and her sisters are getting into playing it now, but she has like zero interest in trying, and it's one of those things of just like I feel like I want to get it so that she can play with them, because like in the back of my head I'm like, I bet she could have fun with this, even because like in her head it's gonna be like a totally white canvas and it's gonna be nothing until you have to make something, because you know some people, they have those games where it's like, okay, if you're not creative, this game isn't gonna be fun, which like I think Minecraft has like a bad stigma of that for some people, of like, no, you can definitely have fun even without creating, of like just collaborating. I used to do that a lot back in my friends' servers and stuff, because when I played, it was like right before like even the full 1.0 release, and I was like playing Java, so like I haven't played in years, so I'm sure like if I played now it would be like a completely different game. But like it's just so funny of like I want to like kind of see that, especially just because it's so rare that I see a lot of like her family playing games outside of her, because like the most games I'll play with her is going to be like fighting games, or like we've been playing a lot of Warriors games and stuff just for like personal projects. But what's so funny is like I had like the weirdest moment like happen of like, I was like, who are you? Something happened where like her sister was streaming Valorant, and mind you, I've never seen her sister play a game. So to go from I'm playing nothing to I'm streaming Valorant on Twitch, I'm like, what?
That's hilarious. But see, a lot of people have been getting into games and stuff because that there's literally nothing else you can do that interacts with people online in the same capacity.
And I mean, like, stuff like that's cool, though, because, like, besides that, the only thing I'd ever seen her sister play was, like, Just Dance when they'd come over here. So it's just, like, so fun to just be like, man, if something like, if you've never played video games and you're just, like, on a whim gonna be like, oh, okay, I'll check out Valorant, or I'll check out Minecraft, or, like, now that, like, all of her family's playing Genshin Impact. Like, literally everyone in my life...
That's amazing.
Everyone in my life besides me is playing Genshin Impact, and it's, like, I've never felt like more of a boomer in my whole life. It's so weird.
Even I have honestly been playing Genshin Impact a little bit. Just because of the characters are so cute, it almost makes it hard not to play when you see so much fan art and so many cute characters coming out consistently with good designs. It's almost like they know what they're doing.
So now here's the $1 million Genshin Impact question before I promise we get back on topic. Okay.
Yeah.
What dub do you play it on out of the 4?
I played on English, but that's just because I'm English and white and stupid.
How is the English voice acting? Because in our house, this is as far as you get with the English one. If it's on,
Paimon, you ever want to strangle something really badly? It sounds like a child, and I don't like Paimon. I don't know what it is with people in liking Paimon, but Paimon is just awful and squeaky.
Paimon's like a coin, though. You either hate Paimon with all your like soul force, or you love Paimon. Like there's no middle. There's no people who nothing her.
This is like talking about people who like Morgana versus Teddy. Like I like both of them. You know what I mean? Like people will argue Teddy sounds stupid or Teddy's voice is annoying. Personally, I'm not really bothered by it. Neither Morgana either. I like both of them. They're both good. Just
no, I totally get that.
Oh, Paimon, I have issues with you.
So, would you like to guess in our house, out of the choice of Japanese, Korean, Mandarin, or English, which one we go with?
I want to guess Mandarin, because that was the first one that came to my mind.
Yeah, because like it was one of those things of like, I think because we knew it was made in China, it was like this dub was probably like the one they put the most budget into.
Exactly.
And like it's really really good. You know what's actually really funny, kind of like getting into it. So like I know you've probably never played any of them, or if you have very little experience. So you know Dynasty Warriors is about like you are playing as a bunch of Chinese people like beating up everyone. But what's so funny about it is they never had a Chinese dub until the last Dynasty Warriors game.
What?
Yeah, it was always Japanese people or English, but what's so funny about that is for Dynasty Warriors 9, when we were playing it, we had a moment of like, oh, I guess we'll check it out, because it was the first time they'd brought back English dubs in a long time, and normally in our house we just play in Japanese or whatever, And it was so funny of like the Chinese one was like, wow, who would have thought playing as a bunch of Chinese people in China sounds better in Chinese? Like it fit like horrendously well, like to the point of like it made you like wish like ever, because like normally I'm like whatever, I'll do dubs, like I don't really care about the whole subs versus dubs thing, but it's just so funny of just like having like that like third eye expansion of like, oh yeah, like when it grammatically makes sense, like that's like why I always go back and tell people, I'm like, seriously, I would pay an infinite amount of money if I could to make Atlas go back in time and properly localize Strange Journey. Like, because the fact that Strange Journey is just voiced by a bunch of Japanese people is like one of the worst parts about it. Of like, you have no idea how much it takes me out of the experience. Of like, no, a whole bunch of multi-ethnic Japanese-speaking people would not be in Antarctica right now. There's a bunch of other unbelievable things in this game, but that's the biggest thing that always takes me out of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as we're talking about this, and as I queue up our next thing we have to talk about, please go to Canadian eBay and tell me how much a copy with the box of Strange Journey Redux costs right now. I'm horrified to find out.
Alright, let me see here.
Before the show, we were looking at different prices, and I cannot believe what some of you heathens are playing, I cannot believe what some of you heathens are paying for Catherine Full Body's Collector's Edition. Please don't do that.
What they're paying for any price of them. Jesus, you guys are actually being scammed. At this point, it's just, since I already have all the games, it's just like watching you guys lose every
I
single
thought
time.
you have a couple that you don't have, or at least you like, is it maybe you need the box for it still?
Well, I'm not really that, like, that anal about getting boxes and stuff. I do have, what is it called? Can't think of it. I have Soul Hackers cartridge. I mean, I'm gonna have Conception 2 cartridge. I think I have Overclocked cartridge. And then I think I have Double Survivor, just regular. I don't know. I have a bunch in cartridge form, but that doesn't really bother me because those weren't really the games that I was super passionate about. Those are just games that I wanted to collect. And I mean, the ones I really don't have are just the older ones for consoles that I don't own.
What do you have for Dancing All Night 3 and 5? Do you get the collector's edition, or do you have like just the regular case?
I have all of them and the special bookcase, and I platinumed all 3.
So I gotta ask you, is there one thing in your Atlas collection that you either don't have or is like your white whale of like, I really wanted this and I had to hunt down really, really hard, or oh my god, I still can't get this?
Ooh, alright. I'll take this as a challenge, because I know exactly what I'll say for this. If someone can... I'll send you a picture of this, actually, at the end of the podcast. If someone owns this and wants to sell this, I am willing to wait, like, if you come to this video in like, 3 years, I still want this. You're gonna hit me up on Twitter, probably. See, I swear to God, I did the same thing on Anime Figure Collection. I said, I don't care if you find this comment in 5 years, hit me up, I'll still buy it from you. There is a Persona 4 Dancing... Isn't it Dancing All Night?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There is a Persona 4 Dancing All Night Hatsune Miku collaboration plush, and I really want that, but I cannot for the life of me find that anywhere.
I always see pictures of that. Is that legit? I always assumed it was fan-made.
It's real. It's real. I'm pretty sure it's real.
Have you seen the statue? There is a statue of that Dancing All Night costume Miku as well.
Is there?
Yes. I don't know if that's a fan kit, but I know I've seen the statue as well as the plushie. Okay,
give me a second. I'm just gonna find the picture of it.
It's
on my... Listen, it's on my figure collection, so it would have to be a legitimate figure.
Okay. I have one game that I've literally been eyeing for almost a whole year now, and I don't want to say what it is yet. Oh, that thing looks legitimately adorable. That almost looks like something that was like a prize like figure in like a Crane game almost.
I think it is, and that's why it's probably so little. A lot of people say it's ugly or they don't like her boots.
Really?
I like her boots.
I love that design of Miku, even though it has like the weird like heart nipples. I enjoy that outfit.
Yeah, I think it's funny. Also, just for the memes, everyone hates the dancing games. Bitch, I love the dancing games. Fight me.
So, like, I can't tell you what mine is But when I have it, hopefully soon, knock on wood, nothing horrible happens to it, because tracking it down has been a pain, and then coming to the realization that I will just have to pay out the butt for it has also been a pain. But like, there's one game out there that I've had a script ready for a video. I just wanted to hold off until I had it, because like, you ever like see those YouTube channels where they'll be like, check out these rare games or check out these hidden gems, and then like
Hmm.
as soon as that video picks up traction, all of those games are now way harder to find. It's like one of those things of, I know, even though I'm not a big channel, as soon as I do this video, it's gonna catch on like wildfire. If people are going to be like, oh, yeah, that was a thing. And then people are going to realize, oh, wow, this is really rare. And people are going to be like, oh, my God, this is like the rarest thing ever, but no one talked about it. So, like, there's like, I'm like, okay, dude, just play cool. Don't say what it is yet until it's finally like out, because like, you know, because in my brain, if I talked about it early and said what it was, then people would buy up every single one online out there or jack up the price even more. And I'm like, no,
Hmm.
I can't do that. I've already spent way too much money buying bad Attack on Titan games. I can't do that anymore.
That reminds me of like conversations I've had with LaRue in the past about the more we talk about merch and how we get merch and how we are getting merch, the more we're having issues actually getting the stuff we want, or bids are getting really high, or things are selling out much faster now than they should be.
Man, very true. Like when Strikers got announced as having a steelbook in the West, and it was a different design than the Japanese one, it bumped up the price almost 3 times. So if you wanted the original steelbook in Japan, it went from like, oh, it was like $60 to like over 100 now. So like, it's just really really crazy how like just the littlest push will like move prices in just like ridiculous ways. And then other times, like, I don't know how much you love this, like, I love when you like get like a weird collecting tick of like, oh, I really want that. I didn't know that I wanted that, but I really want it. And then you find it
Hmm.
for just like a disgustingly low price, and you're like, oh, this is amazing. That's like the best feeling ever.
I completely agree. And I mean, like, a lot of the stuff I want, to be honest, I collected through going to eBay and just bidding on loose figures and just cleaning them up a bit, because it doesn't bother me if they're slightly dirty or have a little scuff, especially if it's like a prize figure and I'm paying like $6 for it plus like $2 shipping. I'm okay with that because my collection is really big now, and a lot of these figures that I have, people seem to want for some strange reason.
Honestly, like, shout out to prize figures, because like they can definitely range in quality a large amount, but God, sometimes like there are some prize figures that are like legitimately like way too nice for how cheap they are.
Oh, I completely agree. I can think of like the Furyu Wild collection. They're featured in a lot of my videos. It's the Persona characters they're kind of like hanging off blocks. The quality for those is absolutely insane.
There, what's really funny, we mentioned this earlier when we were talking before the show. There is only one figure, at least officially licensed figure, from that entire Caligula game, and it was a prize figure. And I don't know if it's just because of like whatever. I would always see it at anime conventions. It was like the one prize figure ever. I would see it like every booth at least, like no matter what it was, whose booth it was. It was just one of those weird things of like, and it was one of those things of like, I don't know if you've ever had this where I saw it so much. Like, you ever see those things where you're walking around like convention halls and you see it enough times, you're
Hmm.
like, oh, it must not be that rare, so I'll hold off for it. And now that I haven't gone to conventions in like so long, I'm like, oh, why didn't I just buy it when I could have paid like $20 and just not had to worry about shipping or like conditioning?
Yeah, exactly. And now they're probably worth way more than that.
Just wait. Once Caligula 2 gets announced, and then hopefully people care about it, then all the merch will get expensive. That's my great fear.
Well, I mean, to be honest, you can look at Persona kind of like an investment. As long as the company's, making great games and doing well, this stuff is going to be worth money. I mean, like Persona 4 and 5, well, 3, 4. Well, I mean, Persona 3, 4, and 5 already are worth money as is, but since the quality of the goods is only improved, especially like import goods, I don't know if people have actually looked into it, but you can buy rings, you can buy clothing, like expensive quality clothing through importing, and it's honestly kind of worth it. I like the pieces that I've gotten from them, and I've always been astonished at how well packaged they are. It's always better than anything I've ever gotten, like Western wise.
It's like have you been importing enough now that your like taste or in like what quality you expect from items has gone up? Because I remember when I really started importing a lot of Atlas stuff, it made me kind of look at Atlas West products of like, huh. I mean, it's a nice art book, but then you compare it to the one that you, like they have in Japan and stuff, and it's like this is just like completely on a whole nother level.
Honestly, no. To be honest, I don't always look at that. Like, for example, we've talked about this before. I have the Odin Sphere art book, but you have the hard copy, which
Hmm.
is a little bit different. And that never actually bothered me. To me, it's more so that I at least have the art book in my collection.
Okay, just because we're talking about merch, and I have to bring this up, have you seen what they, for whatever reason, they decided to wait a whole year to make merchandise for Scramble? In Japan, they just announced keychains, acrylic keychains, a case, and some stickers for strikers. Have you seen these yet? Because the designs are absolutely fucking adorable.
Oh, yeah, I actually did. I was thinking about actually buying them or buying a box just to get what's her name, Sophie?
Yeah, like, all right, I should clarify. There are multiple designs. There's specifically the one I'm talking about is the one of them all sleeping and they look like little babies. Those are the
Oh,
cute.
that's the one I was talking about too,
Yeah,
Spencer. Trust me.
those are like the cutest thing ever. I gotta say, like for me, nothing makes me less excited about merch when it's literally just character art JPEGs on stuff. I'm like, I look at like even like characters I love like Fox and Skull, like looking at like characters like that, and it's just like normal art that you can see anywhere for free. It's like, it doesn't really do it for me. Like looking at like the little key charms they have, like yeah, they're stylish and they look nice, but like I don't know, like in my head I always just like really appreciate I don't know, like I guess it's just like in my head, like I enjoy like stuff that's either functional or like uniquely designed and stuff. So like I'm not always like a huge sucker for like the super chibified sleeping stuff. Although, oh man, I'm looking at it now. There's like a carrying case with them all sleeping on it on like little stars. I'm like, oh no. Like I'm normally like pretty picky with merch of like, I'm fine. Like I don't really need it, and even like this, like if I saw it in front of me, I would buy it all immensely, and I probably wouldn't import it. But the weird one that like super catches my interest, and I don't know if you saw, is they made. I don't know if it's meant to be a Switch, but it is a zip up pouch of Joker and Arson. It's just black and white, and it looks really classy. Have you seen that?
No, I have not
I'm
actually.
gonna send it to you in chat really quick. It's the image they used on this steelbook, and when you're booting up the game, it just looks
Mhm.
really nice, and it's just one of those things of like I enjoy like cases for stuff like whether like I could fit my Vita or my
Oh,
Switch in there.
yeah, sorry. I'm sorry. I did see that. 1,000%. I saw both of those. I think I retweeted it actually, because I follow the account that posts them.
Hmm. And then the other part of me that's like I really want stuff like this, but then also at the same time I'm like, oh god, if it's not like super easy to like I'm aware of like services like Buy and other things for it, but like there are so many other times
Sorry.
like there are
Sorry,
just
I went on AmiAmi and there's things that I want and I was gonna mention a few
we're
things, but
gushing. Lay it
sorry.
on me. No, let's hear it. What are we gasping about? Let's hear
Okay,
it.
so there's one thing specifically I really want to mention because I want this company to do well. And that's a personal stance. Because I like this figure. I like the quirkiness of it. I like just the whole thing. Even though it's not like a traditional figure, different than an Nendoroid. I'll send it to you. This is Emon Toys version of On Takamaki. Now I've been waiting for this figure for a while. I was praying it would come to AmiAmi. It actually did, thank God. But I really like just the quirkiness, the way they did the style. I mean, Morgana looks stupid, but that's okay. It's more so for On.
You're right. Like, as soon as I looked at it, just Morgana,
He's like,
Morgana
what
like
the
just
fuck?
literally has like the most like
Looks
vanilla design face.
he's like just deadpan staring. But the other one, I basically want people to at least take a look at that. You know, it's
It's
cute.
gonna
Oh my god.
it's gonna be in the show. It's gonna be in the show episode image now. Also, I just have to say, I don't know why I love it so much. but I really legitimately find the fact that there is now a Nendoroid with a submachine gun really funny.
Oh, they're releasing more watches too. Oh, and the other thing, I'm gonna probably pre-order this. It's kind of silly, but this is I guess again like a functional thing. I don't know. Do you know what a carab? I don't even know how to say this word. Carabiner. It's basically a
Kerbiner?
carbiner. There's a Persona Carbiner being released, and I like those because personally I like attaching them to my purse, and I'm using a really ugly like bright pink one. But if I can like look how nice that is. It's really like honestly it's $30, but it's beautiful. Like I could put that on my Joker purse, and God, that sounds awful.
Well, for all those times you're going outside.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So I gotta say, Nendoroids are like one of those things for me of like I love them in terms of a respecting thing, but the thing that I know would drive me insane is like I never get rid of my boxes, and
Oh
they are so
yeah.
smart. They are so smart with like how everyone is numbered, like Funkos are, of like I don't know if you've ever seen pictures of people who like have you seen like the people who like legitimately have every like Nendoroid with the box like still like in perfect condition. It's like insane because there's like what
I'm. What are you
4,000 now.
talking about? I am one of those people.
Well, I mean
Like
like
literally,
I mean
Spencer.
no, but I mean like they literally have from the first one ever released to current like every version of everything. Like
Well,
it's
if you
like
want to get real here, I started collecting in the early 300s. So I've been collecting almost for actually
what are
like
we at now?
a
Like
decade.
what number is on at?
Okay, let me just look it up. But I've been collecting well over a decade. So I've seen Nendoroids come and go. Like I'm praying they bring back the Devil Survivor Nendoroid. Atlas, please, I'm begging you. I will buy it, please, 10 times over. Just bring it back. I don't want to pay the stupid scalper price for it. I just like bring back the Devil Survivor figure. You know what? Why am I mentioning this? Y'all are just gonna go buy one now. Fuck you.
I mean, also
Honestly.
weird little thing. I don't know if this annoys you. It like really annoys me more than it ever should. I hate that a lot of merchandise, especially for the figures. Have you noticed the figures aren't from the games? The figures are from the anime, and I'm like, it doesn't make a difference. Like everyone hates the anime. Why would you associate yourself with that?
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just trying to like find out what
No, you're good. Yeah,
number
because it
this.
was like kind of hard to like find them for it, but I mean, dude, my then question for you is someone who has like a bunch. Like, if you had to like ballpark guess it, how many do you think you had? Like in terms of like just Nendoroids.
And just
Hmm.
Nendoroids? I'm not actually. Well, I know at one point probably well over like 50, but I think I mentioned it at some point. But like I started like selling my collection as well as collecting, so it makes me feel better because I'm kind of like recycling income in that sense. It's not always like a huge, massive purchase,
That makes
if
sense.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time finding this. Give me a second here. It's really bothering me that it's not saying the number on like their advertisements and stuff.
You're good. I've been looking at the pouch size of this.
Oh, I found it. So we're almost, I guess I found it. Sorry, it's at the very top of the page. I just didn't notice. So 1560 is what Nendoroid we're on. So I've been collecting it for about a decade, and
Jesus.
that's crazy to think about. Like, it's been that long.
Weird collecting question for Nendoroid. Is there like a white whale of like, oh my god, this one's like the rarest one. They only made like certain amount. Like, what is like the like, oh my
The
god
best.
one?
There's a video. I think the Anime Man is featured in it. I'm not 100% sure. It was a while ago since I've watched it. Anime Man goes and looks at the most rare Nendoroid of all time. They're actually prototypes
Yo, here
for
we
the
go.
most part.
Well, at least according to Google from this one article, Nendoroid Armored Huke Mark II, Huke. I don't know who that is. It says
Uh, Here, let me see.
number 4 is a random China version of Naruto, so shout out to Mar. Number 2 and 3 go to Miku, a metallic version of Miku.
Hmm. Yeah. And see the biggest difference is the way their neck joints are. the original neck joints. Actually, I could probably find a picture of it to
Oh, I've
explain.
seen this before. This is the rarest one. It's that it's like it looks like a box and it has like a flame eye and it has a star in its head. It's literally like it looks like it's made of a bunch of cardboard boxes. I've seen this guy
Yeah, I've
before.
seen it. I don't. Yeah.
Hmm. This is a deep rabbit hole we're getting into, everybody. I hope you go. I hope like someone listening to this like has no idea what like Nendoroids are and then looks them up and goes, "Oh no, I have to collect these now."
Well, yeah, they probably will, unfortunately.
Okay, so
It's just
I gotta go back to your I said belt I was gonna say belt buckle. I gotta go back to your clip. Sell me on why you want this clip, because I'm not gonna lie, this looks like a very boring like I made it in shop class clip.
what is it? Sorry.
The one you sent me, that's the Phantom Thieves logo.
Why? Oh, because like the one I have is just very generic and normal, and I want to be a dweeb.
It looks quality, but I think it's because like I'm very picky about when I like the color brown, and I don't know if it's just the photo here, but this just looks very like it looks like someone made it out of hardened oatmeal.
That's a good definition. Okay, I found a picture.
Also, I
Finally,
just saw the price of this. Is $30? Excuse me.
maybe. Listen, if I buy the character pack and sell them off, that $30 is easily made back.
Oh, weird. When did they start changing the neck joints in Nendoroids? I just assumed they were always the same.
What?
Yeah,
See, look,
seriously.
this is what I mean when I say I've been collecting them for so long. Like, most people wouldn't even notice something like that, but I know that that's a thing.
No, yeah. Like, I mean, even just put this in perspective of, like, how little, like, statues I collect. I have, like, a handful of, like, prize figures I've just won through the years, and I have a
Mhm.
single Figma. I have one Figma in my whole collection of stuff.
Mhm. Mhm.
I don't know, actually, I'm trying to think, because
So
I know you sent me your collection a while ago. You have a couple of the Persona Figmas, right?
I've a lot of them. I don't think I got Futaba
But you
or
have you have the
Ryuji.
Goro Figma, right?
Yes, I have the Goro. I have every Goro ordered. I didn't get the pop-up parade Goro just because I decided last minute that I didn't really care for it.
Oh,
But
Goro's
I
not
mean,
even
it's
out yet. He's coming out July of this year. Okay.
yeah. Well, I mean the like regular suit Goro, right?
Gotcha. Yeah, yeah, I'm looking at. Also, I already appreciate one of their advertising images they have, and this one I'm also going to have to include for the thumbnail. It
Mhm.
is just him looking at his phone and very disappointed. That's just like, how do we sell this man? Just him being very
Mhm.
disappointed at looking at his dumb phone. $97 on GameStop, everybody. Get those pre-orders in.
Now, yeah. So I was. This is actually I might as well give you the story because this is an interesting take. So I've been collecting so long. I was originally collecting when I was like 15 when I first got a job essentially. So I was on AmiAmi and not the most responsible child. Not always paying for my orders. Sometimes ordering and like not paying for
Is
it.
it true that like AmiAmi's like really like
Sure.
sticklers about stuff like that?
So I'm about to get into that.
Okay.
So I did at one point, you know, not pay for certain orders. My account got banned or whatever, and I was like, okay, whatever. So I made a new account, and that account was good for a while until I didn't pay for orders again. Then that got banned, and then I was like whitelisted. Like I don't know how they do it, but like if I make an account, it was insta banned, like already like banned within seconds, like not even able to make like an order before it was even banned. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. So time goes on. It's 2020. I'm like, hey, there's like I was like it's 2020. I'm like, why not just try and see if they would let me have my account back? Like, let's just see if I can say, listen, like, I'm not 15 anymore. I understand how it affects your business and how it screws you guys over. It seriously hurts their business. So please do not do this and respect their wishes because it is actually a problem that they suffer from. And obviously, they don't want that. But I basically said, hey, I'm not 15 anymore. I'm sorry that I didn't pay for orders, and I basically sent them screenshots of me paying for orders on like various other sites, like Good Smile, for example, because I order from the manufacturers normally, or at least I try to. So I sent them pictures of that, and I said, hey, like I'm really sorry. I understand what I did was really wrong, and like I would never do that again. I just want my account back. It's been like 10 years. Like, if you guys just want to give me a chance, I'd really appreciate it. Just on a whim, just thinking, hey, maybe they actually would say, let's give this person a break. Like, they were like 15 when they were making this accounts and stuff. So they actually did. And I even sent them an email and was like, can you please like thank whoever looked at the case? Cause it had to be escalated. Like, it wasn't just a normal case. I had to ask them to like go to the internal team to actually like see if I could have my account back. That's how bad my account was like whitelisted.
Damn.
And they did. They let me have my account back, but they said basically any order not paid for, and I'm Instaban. And I said I'm 100% okay with that. Let whoever looked at this know. I said thank you so much. Like, I appreciate it. Stay safe. And that's why I feel like it's so important to say this to people, because someone might be doing the same thing I did when I was 15, not paying for orders. I know, because my friends don't pay for orders sometimes. And we really got to think, do you want this item? Like,
I have
people
a, I have
really
a
need
weird
to take that
AmiAmi
in.
question. So, like, why does AmiAmi not just do what other websites do and just take the money right away first? Why don't they just charge immediately and not when it ships?
I assume it's because they're ordering the specific amount. So, like, let's say they get 300 orders for a Marnie figure from Pokemon. They're only going to order those 300. There will not be extras.
Huh.
That's what I assume they're doing. Because, like, I don't know if they're a small business or what, but they are honestly a really great company. And I'm thankful that, whoever was on their customer support team was even dealt with me. Because they could have just said no and not responded, or just, like, straight up denied it, but they didn't. They actually gave me a chance, and I'll always appreciate that. So I'm never gonna fuck them over ever again.
Shoutouts to
Love you,
that.
AmiAmi.
Yeah, shoutouts to random customer support person AmiAmi.
Yeah. And it's cool because they let me have my like OG account back. So like my actual email is in my account. Like, so before I couldn't use my account and it would say like you can't order, but now I have my original account. So it has like my past orders, my past bookmarks. It's really cool.
Man, and then you can look at all the money you've spent and definitely won't put it to waste.
Well, see, the thing is too, and like I know people don't like this, but I've been collecting figures for so long. Yeah, I do kind of scalp sometimes, but it's more so that I'll
I
buy a figure
All right,
and decide
I'm gonna
later
stop
on.
you because I feel like there always has to be that differentiation. There is a difference between scalping, which is you bought as many as possible, and
Oh,
I
true,
am
true.
selling something that I own that I know is rare. Like when people are like, listen,
Mhm.
sometimes you gotta sell stuff to like make money. Like I sold, like a good example. I sold like end of last year. I had Shantae on
Mhm.
Switch, like Pirate's Curse, the collector's edition. It was going for over $500. And I looked at
Holy
myself and I
shit.
said, I have 3 copies of this game on different systems, and I never play on my Switch. Why would I not sell that for half a grand?
Yeah, that's insane.
Hmm. And hey, is that how much I paid for it? No, I made like a 6 times profit on that thing. But someone bought it within like literally an hour of me posting it. So like, if they're like, sometimes you got to make money for it. Like the difference would be like is if you're doing group orders and you're buying like 30, like you're doing a pallet and then you're selling them like down the line.
Yeah, no. The thing I was gonna say is, this is my. Sorry, I just sent a react, I think, by mistake. The thing I was gonna say is, I personally will buy a figure, and let's say, for example, this happened with Fire Emblem Fates. I ordered the Nendoroids of Elise, and I think it was Sakura. I think that was her name. Those games were bad anyway. It doesn't really matter. But But at least the Nendoroid went up to like crazy prices, and Fire Emblem fans are just as psychotic as Persona fans, if not even more psychotic when it comes to merch
I mean,
like
yeah, I was
that.
gonna say, I feel like Fire Emblem is something that has like a unholy amount of merchandise just because it's been around so long.
Oh, wait, like people were selling this Nendoroid, I think when I sold it for about 200 plus. And so I did the same thing. So I actually recently went and, because honestly, I'm not the best at checking my prices at my eBay store, because I do have an eBay store where I sell my stuff off. I guess people could have assumed that when I said I do sell my stuff. But I didn't check for a while, probably like a few months. People could have bought my stuff for like ridiculously low prices, and I wouldn't have even noticed. Like I have a panty and stocking PSG arranged version, Gurren Lagann collaboration figure, and this was like one of my holy grail figures as a kid. Like I wanted this figure so bad. They did a reprint of it. I bought it, right? And now that I have it, I'm like, I don't know. I'm like 50-50. If someone bought it, I might cancel their order and keep it, but it's like I won't know till that moment comes, until I really have to decide if I'm going to let it go. But honestly though, I was ripping my own store off because things were so cheap. I was looking at every other price and mine was at the bottom for like lowest shipping and everything, and I was like, we need to change this. That's unacceptable.
Hmm.
But Fire Emblem is one that I often will buy figures for and not keep because they're always worth money no matter what. Same with Persona. Like I said, I have all the Nendoroids, most of the Figmas except for Ryuji and Futaba because they're my least favorite characters. Oops.
How
Sorry,
many
not sorry.
how many Joker amiibos have you stored? I imagine there's like 50 Joker amiibos right behind you just waiting.
I only have one. If I told you though how many Jokers were in the room, I think I took a video once just to like mock one of my friends on TikTok or whatever. I was like, "Oh, we like Joker," and then I would zoom into another Joker figure right beside it and say, "Oh, did you know we like Joker here?" And then I would zoom into another Joker figure like right beside that one and say the same thing like 3 or 4 times over, and just keep going because there's so much Joker in my room that I
So
can just turn around and it's there.
so as a fellow Joker fan, I have to ask just because this comes up especially now with so many crossover events. Are you like when you see different mobile games doing crossover events? Do you get excited as a Joker fan? Or like for me, like I feel like there've been so many mobile crossover events that I'm like they mean nothing to me now. Like none of them like I don't get excited, I don't get upset. It's just like oh, it's a thing. Like there's
I'm
zero interest for me.
I'm just not interested in mobile gaming as a whole. Like the only one I really actually enjoyed was like Identity V, which is basically Dead by Daylight but made for kids.
Why does that sound familiar? Describe it again.
It's like Dead by Daylight, but for kids. So it's like more like everything looks like Coraline themed, where they have button eyes and like.
Oh yeah. But yeah, they did a couple of other ones with that. I forgot all about that game. That game's like art style is like the most interesting part about it, sadly for me.
Yeah, and then when you go to actually play it, they make you play through like the story mode to unlock characters and stuff, which is really annoying. And then they want a lot of money for their skins. So I mean, like I played it a few times, but I was like, nah, this ain't it, fam. Especially because the collaboration event's over, so not like I could get a Joker or anything skin if I wanted to.
I'm trying to remember. I'm looking it up right now. The Catherine full body mobile game that they like crossed over with, because I remember the art for that was insanely gorgeous and very horny. Let's see if I can get the name for it. It was Destiny's Child. So fun fact about Destiny's Child, it is not the band. Destiny's
Really,
Child
because I was thinking Destiny's Child.
exactly has amazing art. Like the art is insane and
Do you want to
very
send it
very
through
thirsty.
Skype? Because I have no idea what you're talking about, to
Sure.
be
Let
honest.
me send.
Hello, fellow Mega 10 fan. I do not know what you are talking about. Haha.
Boy, let me tell you, you are not missing out too much. All right. So the art for this game, when you see it, you will definitely understand when I say surprising nobody, there is straight up, even though it is a mobile gacha game, there is a nude version of it, I found out, that I guess is only in Korea. I might have this wrong, the region, but there is a region where this game is exclusively, like, has, like, just nudity still with it. It's still a gacha whatever game, but the art is, like, so good that, like, man, even with, like, the safe for work versions, it's like, man, I really respect how good this art is. And it was one of those things of, like, when it got announced, chugga. I'm trying to find the one. Here we go. There was a one that just has all of the like art for it, and just like because it's actually like animated, like it's made in like live 2D, but it just looks really really good. So if I can talk and type, which I'm very very bad at.
That's something that's become really, really popular lately. I mean, not just with VTubers, but in general, like graphics-wise. And I've honestly been looking into it as well. I guess I'll lay this on the low while I wait for you to post a link so I can see it.
I just sent it to you on Discord just because I was doing it on my phone.
Oh. Okay. Okay. No, I haven't seen this before. Interesting. Yeah, this is pretty lewd. Honestly, though, I really like the implementations of, like, live 2D and stuff. I think they're really cool. These are neat, actually. They're like GIFs.
Yeah, like, they put a lot of effort into them, which, like, you don't normally get. Like, even with some stuff that has, like, pretty elaborate collaboration events. Like, you look at something like the upcoming Dragalia Lost event. Like, the Dragalia Lost event just, like, does nothing for me. It's, like, it's another... Like, even though, like, people I know really like that game, it's just, like, it is a RPG mixing with another RPG. Whereas, at least, like, this one, it kind of, like, fit with, like... Because Catherine is, like, not a overly sexual game, but it definitely has, like, overly sexualized elements. So, like, it made more sense.
Tones 1,000%. Like, everything about Catherine. Just the tones.
And the best part is, like, when you like, look at some of these, like, drawings and stuff, it's just, like, reminder, all of these are official. That's, like, the best part.
Yeah.
It's, like, these are all, like, canonical,
so
like, drawings.
I got paid to draw Catherine with a huge booty jiggling.
I mean, it's just really, like, funny, especially because, like, for me, of, like, no one talks about it, because it's, like, I guess, like, yeah, because I was going to be like, I mean, out of K. Catherine and C. Catherine, neither one of them are flat in any department, so it's just kind of like, I mean, they got really whatever going on.
The jiggle.
And then just Ren's just sitting there, flat as day old beer.
That's something I'm not surprised of, though, is the Catherine figures have not been going up, like, at all in cost. It's mainly been just Persona. Like, every time I check the prize figures for Catherine, they're still same price.
Catherine's one of those weird ones of, like, it definitely attracts a different part of the fan base. Like, being a fan of Atlas doesn't always like, you're going to find a Catherine fan.
If I'm being honest, I almost want to say it's the more mature members of the audience that like it, to be honest. Because that game has made me want to break controllers on numerous systems, and I'm about to play it again on the Switch, so pray to God I don't break my Pro Controller.
I just, like, think it's really funny because, like, I had someone had a really bad take regarding Catherine, one I normally haven't really heard before. They classified Catherine as a porn game, and I was like,
shut up.
I was like,
no,
dude,
if they actually played it, they would know it's nothing.
The worst part is this person owned the game. They probably haven't played it, but they at least owned it. But it's just one of those funny things that, like, they were talking about, like, oh yeah, dude, this game is so lewd. I'm like, there's literally zero nudity in the whole thing. There's more blood in the game than nudity.
Yeah, it's more scary or demonic than
anything. It's like, it's as sexy as thinking, oh my god, look, that girl behind me has cleavage. Like, cleavage is about as sexy as it ever gets.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it's just really funny. Like, out of all the really terrible, terrible Catherine takes I've ever heard in my life, it's just one of those weird ones of just like, no, that definitely doesn't do it for me.
Mm-hmm.
So, even though we've hilariously been doing this for like an hour, and one of the reasons I brought you on, we have not touched for a little bit.
We'll talk about the manga.
I'm going to jump over them talking about the manga, because I had an idea today that I really wanted to, like, throw by you, and I don't know why this never comes up enough, if ever. Why has Atlas just not done a visual novel? Like, for real. Like, so straight up, not another games tied to it, just from beginning to end, it is just a visual novel with the music and the art style.
I think mainly because, if I'm being honest, I don't think they could write Mm. It would take them too long to write a story good enough to make a visual novel that people would like, I think. I mean, they could easily take out the RPG elements and make it a visual novel, but then that's what makes it Persona, you know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, you say that, but then at the same time, like, people still enjoy the story in dancing or in Arena or
True,
even in,
true.
like, the ones that had a lot
But
more of a
the
visual
story in
novel
dancing,
story.
yeah, but the story in dancing is very like broad and kind of like just all over the place in terms of like pacing and you know what I mean? Like there's obvious care put into the
But
eight
like,
year version.
there's a thing about this that I think, like, we're not, like, we're assuming that the writers of Persona would work on this. I'm thinking,
True, it could be different.
I immediately thought about this. I was like, man, the story of the Persona 5 manga is in some ways better than Persona 5's way of telling its own story. Like, imagine if they just made a VN with the art from Persona 5's manga and, like, put it as, like, a
Like
digital
animated
comic.
it?
Like, not even animated it, just literally used, like, stills and, like, kind of slide. Like, I guess, like, a step between live 2D and, like, slideshow.
I think they would have to go like one or the other route because there's no in between. Like if you want any slight animation, honestly, I think it would be smart for them to invest in something that has to do with live 2D because they could easily, Spencer, make like the whole Persona crew and have them doing YouTube
Isn't it weird
videos
they've
and like
never thought of doing live 2D? Like, unless I've missed something, like, Atlas has never done it. They've either done it's a really bad 3D
it
model
it
or it's all
blows my
2D.
mind. They could be making bank. Sophie could be like a VTuber. That would be perfect because
What
she's already mobile,
what's
right?
like
So
really
make her a
what's really
VTuber.
sad is I just realized we're also talking about a company who literally until 2012 the characters' mouths never moved when they were talking.
True, true. But like, imagine someone hears this video somehow, someone on Atlas PR, and they go, "Holy shit, that is an amazing idea. We could totally capitalize off that." You know, I doubt they would even listen because usually it's boomers anyway. They'd be like, "Why would we invest in this?" And I would say because it's blowing up and people want it. And if you guys did this and did like a Sophie playthrough as like as someone you hire someone to be like a VTuber or even hire a content creator that's already a VTuber
I mean,
and
if
get
if
them to do it.
Atlas is willing to hire VTube creators to make Persona 4 Golden's PC port, I'm sure they
They
can ask
could
them to do other things.
imagine if like Kuronome or like whatever the rabbit girl's name is played Persona, the amount of people that would go out and buy that game just because that those characters are playing that game is insane. And you could have collaborations because they're also anime characters and have downloadable outfit. You know what I mean? They could even make a dancing game like that featured VTubers or
I
something. They're
mean,
already
I know it's not as popular as it used to be, but like literally next month, one of the new Hyperdimension Neptunia games is all about VTubers. All of the Neptunia
I
girls are
yeah, that's what
VTubers,
I was thinking of. That's exactly what I was thinking of, if I'm being honest.
but like no, like yeah, the VTuber thing like totally makes sense for me. But like I guess because I've just been playing a lot of visual novels recently at work, and then like reading with like the manga of like I feel like they could do that pretty easily and pretty cheap. Like even if they outsourced it to someone else, as long as they like had someone either doing the art they trusted, or like doing the music and everything else. Just because visual novels are still such a it's a booming market in terms of it as a genre, but it still doesn't really have like those really big ones. Because like I think what's so interesting about visual novels is there's a difference between the most known visual novels, say like a Danganronpa, and the best visual novels. Like when you look at what is the most highest rated visual novel of all time, it is not a popular series. Like yes, Muv-Luv is really popular because of the visual novel, but most people don't know about the Muv-Luv like spin-off like games on PS3 and 360 or the animated movie and stuff like that. Whereas like people know a lot about Danganronpa, but Danganronpa isn't
Hmm.
even in like the top 10 or 15 like best VNs of all time. Nothing against Danganronpa, it's just one of those things of like there's never been like that crossover of like really popular franchise and really good solid like visual novel. You ever notice that?
Hmm.
Because like for you, like when it like no specific order, just out of like first thing comes to mind when you think of like big visual novels or important visual novels to you. Like what are like the ones that come off right of your head?
Higurashi. Immediately, Higurashi comes to my mind. Like, just because it's just known as one of those things.
Okay, so fake fan here. I have no idea what that is.
Higurashi?
I do not
It's
know what
like
Higurashi is.
it's like a horror manga slash visual novel. It's about like a cursed
I'm looking it up now.
place.
The art style is definitely not what I would have thought for horror, but hey, Corpse Party exists, I guess.
Hmm.
How old is this?
Um, sorry, I lost my train of
No,
thought.
you're good. Higurashi When They Cry?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna look up the Higurashi.
Oh my god. So
So it was originally Japanese. It was released in 2009, so it's not even that old. But honestly, when I think visual novel, Higurashi and what is the other one? Nekopara. Those are the two that come to mind, and those are completely contrasting like series, which is so funny.
Bro, there's a Higurashi anime?
Yeah, it actually was revamped this year. So if you want to watch it, it's actually pretty good.
That's really funny. Also, literally, there are games for, and I'm not stuttering, PC, PS2, DS, iOS, Android, PS3, Vita, Mac, Linux, Switch,
I'm telling
PS4.
you, this game is popular as fuck.
So is it just one game, or are these all like spin-offs?
It's multiple. So there's
38.
there's some spin-offs.
There's
Yeah.
38 manga, 4 light novel,
Hmm.
a anime run in 2006, another one in 2007. Oh my god, a lot of anime actually. Okay, I guess let's go to the game. So did it start as a light novel or a VN?
Well, obviously, honestly, probably started as a light novel. I'm just gonna go ahead and just hard guess that it's a light novel first.
Yeah, so it was originally in 2005 a light novel, and then 2006 it was a VN.
Okay.
So how did you hear about this? I don't know why I've never heard about it.
Well, I mean, it's on Steam. I feel like it just kind of hit my radar at one point, whether it was anime version or, I mean, like, I'm an OG, like, used to watch a shit ton of anime back in the day. When people talk about, like, for example, I will never get over this moment, and this was one of the funniest moments with my friend I think I ever had, was where I mentioned this idol anime called AKB 0048, and my friend said, "You mean that boomer idol anime?" And I was like, "Oh." Like, I just never got over that moment of being, like, I was like, "Wait, is Love Live really what it is right now?" I'm like, "But AKB 0048 was my thing."
Hey man, it's okay. I understand. Okay. I feel better. I've seen this cover. I just had no idea what it was. At least the Vita
Yeah,
cover.
the characters recently had figures released, like through Good Smile even, like whether it was Nendoroids, they had a 1/8 scale as well of the main, or one of the main
So unless I'm
females.
horribly wrong, literally every port of this has just been an enhanced version of the original one on PS2. Which, by the way, shout out to like living in Japan, because like before PC visual novels were really adapted into the mainstream
PS2,
worldwide,
baby.
it was all like, which like by the way, that sounds like a nightmare. I hate the idea of playing visual novels not like, I hate the idea of playing one on a not portable setting just because I like, it's like a book. I
This
like
is
that I
funny.
can pick it up and put it down. So that's just like
Mhm.
so funny to me to just like think that like they've just been porting this thing like everywhere. And yet it's,
They do.
but
They really do.
never, so I'm assuming the one on Steam is officially licensed, right?
I have no idea about that.
I'm
I just
curious
work
who
here.
did it, but yeah, like I'm even looking at it. It's like, yeah, it's just like all the same art. Like even when like the Switch and PS4 ones, none of these have ever been in English. By the way, shoutouts to if you want the collector's edition, it's
Oh,
$400. That
you know
sounds
what else?
horrifying.
You know what else is a very, very popular one? Between Nekopara is like the new one, and then I would say
I
like
know a lot about Nekopara mostly due to its censoring drama it got into, but yeah, Nekopara is one I do know about.
it's because of the I know about it mainly because the characters are so popular with people. I mean, like that's it's whatever.
Isn't it also an anime, or was it an anime after it was a manga?
I think it was probably an anime after manga, but I haven't watched anything about it. I was gonna say the last one that I can think of that really shows like how old my taste in anime really is that Clanad,
Clannad, yeah.
Clanad,
The one with the good
Clanad.
eyes, the one no one ever makes fun of their eyes.
That one, I just remember the anime making me bawl my eyes out in high school, and I was looking for that experience again. I mean, I bought it, I plan to play it at some point, but I do have the Switch version, and that was a limited run games exclusive. I'm actually gonna see and check if
Well,
that's
okay,
worth
there's like an
anything.
asterisk there. It was kind of like every version in English of Clannad has always also had English subs. even if it doesn't like say so. So like any version on Switch, no matter what region you say it says it's in, it is technically still in English.
But technically, mine's a limited run games version, so I
True.
might have something on that because it notoriety.
So yeah, so Manga Gamer did Higurashi. Manga Gamer just does tons and tons and tons of VNs. So there is how many chapters? 4, 5, 6? It's a lot of. You think they would have just compiled this into one game at this point? I'm not gonna lie. 7.
Yeah, they could have easily.
Okay, that is weird because like Manga Gamer has done console ports before. I know they're not like the biggest. Like the one I literally just finished this week after like forever is The House in Fata Morgana, which is like always my big go-to of like it's one of, if not the best visual novel I've ever played before. Like just anyone listening to this right now, just type into whatever you have, The House in Fata Morgana, and you look at the art, and it is insane. The soundtrack is like one of the best soundtracks of all time, and it had like a 10-person team make it. It's insane. So that was a very, very long tangent just based off Higurashi. So I think we've got you down into 2. So you said Higurashi, Nekopara, and Clannad. By the way,
yeah.
How far have you gotten into Clannad? Because I feel like Clannad's one of those ones I always hear everyone say is like the best VN ever, but I never actually hear anyone say it.
I honestly haven't started yet because I know it's going to be very long. Like it's on the backlog right now as we speak.
Okay.
So I haven't like gotten into it. I knew I would like it because I've already seen the anime. That was mainly my reasoning for buying it, is kind of like so I can play it and then also watch the anime again and do like a video kind of about it, I think. Especially because I don't really talk about my anime taste at all, but now that we're getting into like Gen Z and stuff, I definitely am feeling old when they talk about anime and they're like Attack on Titan and Death Note, and I mean Death Note was around when I was young, but like it's not the best thing ever, guys. Come on. And like Demon Slayer and stuff, and it's like, come on, guys, watch Elfen Lied or something. Come on, breathe. There's air out there. Breathe it.
Oh my god. I'm trying to. Here we go. So I just went to VNDB just because I always like to see whatever the ranking is in case it changed, because I know it hasn't in like forever. But chugga. Hold on. Release staff blank. If you like had like, let's say a random person's listening to this and they were like, what's a good visual novel? Like, don't matter what they're into. Like, someone just comes up to you and they're like, yeah, what is like your favorite visual novel to recommend to someone? Like, for like, don't even think about it. That's their first one. Just like, it's just like,
I know.
Like, what do you throw at them?
Raging Loop.
Oh, the one by P-Cube. Right? That you played on Switch?
Yeah. Raging Loop is awesome. I have never actually been so invested in a visual novel before, to the point where like this is kind of like a Japanese town is cursed, a really old one, and you're trying to figure out who's turning into this killer at night and killing the other townsfolk. And like if you leave your house at night, you get killed, so people know that, and like they start going crazy and stuff. I never actually been so invested in something because I didn't know who the killer was, and that's never happened. Usually I can, even in movies, I've always been like this. I can predict who it's going to be. Just the way they set up stories, half the time, you're meant to guess who it is. This one, for the first time ever, I had no idea. I had no clue what was even going on at the very end until they actually, went through what was actually happening. But that threw me off, and I think a lot of people maybe overlook it. But I'm thankful that one of my community gifted me this game for Christmas one year because it was absolutely beautiful and worth it.
I'm just always really shook about that one because like not only did it get released in English, but it got like a physical release by a major publisher. That's why I was surprised.
That's what I have. Yeah, so I have the physical copy, and yeah, I don't know. I'm really thankful that my community bought me this one, and
Also,
it's
really, really big shout out to the developer Kimco. If you look at any of their games, like nothing, I actually like Kimco games. The funniest part about Kimco, just type in Kimco RPGs, and if you go to Google Images, all of their games look like they were made in RPG Maker, and like they basically are because they're mostly meant for like phones and stuff. But like I just love that they were like, oh, we're known for doing like RPG Maker games and putting them on consoles and phone. Oh, but we're also gonna make this like 50-hour long visual novel.
mhm.
It's just like the
No, I
craziest thing.
I would highly recommend, like, if you're into visual novels with horror, check out Raging Loop, please. I promise it's well worth it. It's not a super expensive visual novel. It's on a
Oh
bunch of
yeah,
different
like I
platforms.
see it all the time for like $20 here in the States. Like that's with the box,
Exactly.
so that's a nice
I've
thing.
thought about actually cosplaying the girl on the cover before, but I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it's one of those games that not everyone talks about, and I mean, oh, I remember what I was gonna say now. Sorry. I'm actually gonna mention this in a video that's upcoming that talks about different visual novels that I like. Actually, I don't mention Clanite in that one, so we're pretty safe on that front.
Okay. Shout out to Clannad. I think it is still, and yeah, it's still in like the top 20 of like most popular or like highest rated VNs of all time, which is very very
How
high.
does it make you feel to know that the stories from 10 years ago are just as good as they were then? Like, well, how does that make you feel to know that like our storytelling doesn't seem to be getting like that much better?
See, I used to like kind of be hung up on like yeah, like that's definitely how a lot of people still definitely feel, but I've really really enjoyed that like I guess it is kind of tough because yeah, there are some that are like, oh my god, like this should be depressing. The highest rated VN of all time is Muv-Luv Alternative. That came out 15 years ago, and it is still the highest rated VN of all time. Like that should be depressing. But then like I look at other things about it of like, well, no, like still in that top 10 there are games from like the last 4 years, like stuff like that like makes me excited, like Utawari Romano like is still always like really really highly regarded, which hey, fun little asterisk, it's not really Atlas Japan related, but Atlas West did a nice dick move. They delisted the Utawari Romano games they localized and didn't tell anyone. So now, if you want to play Utawari Romano 2 or 3 on PS4 or Vita in English, it is delisted, so you have to get a physical copy or play them on Steam. But then what sucks is, for whatever reason, the Steam versions are fine. Like, they're all very playable. The whole trilogy's there. But what's crazy about it is the PS4 version is in 1080p. The Steam version is in 720p. Like, how does that happen? Like, how does the Steam version have the worst resolution in this like very old visual novel? Like, you're just showing me JPEGs. Everything should be 4K. But yeah, to answer your question, I don't think it is as bad as like a lot of people will say in terms of like you mentioned, like a lot of like the best writing people kind of covet out there are all these really really old stuff. Like I still get excited that like to this day, oh, there's a lot of like talk about like what's like the greatest story. Although actually, it was kind of weird is I was having the opposite thought of this today. Of I was hearing someone on a podcast explain why 13 Sentinels is like the best story in like modern game history for like recent history, and I was like, dude, I love 13 Sentinels. And please tell me if you feel opposite of this, because I haven't gotten to throw this off anyone. I did not walk away from that game thinking it was the best story I've ever heard in my life. Like it is very much a good story, but like I don't know if it's just because I've heard a lot of science fiction in my life, but I've seen
Hmm.
of a lot of like the tropes that 13 Sentinels does. They did not like they're not the first ones to do like the twists in
Oh,
that game.
definitely. I think that may have been too part of it. It's because like I'm not really into sci-fi, so all the tropes they pulled, like I wasn't expecting a lot of that, and I honestly loved that game. I think it was one of the most like innovative stories in in a long time, considering like what we've had come out in the past like decade story wise. I've just That's the first game that made me feel something in so long. I just felt so good to actually be like, wow, this is why I play games, like a breath of fresh air, and then go back to PS2 Radikuzuno.
See, man, then I just feel like a dick because like people talk about like their takeaways from that game, and then here I am. I'm just like, yeah. It kind of reminded me a lot about Danganronpa and Horizon Zero Dawn, which are not things I expected to say about that game's story. Like, it's a great story. It has a great cast, but like, I just like always get so weirded out of like when I talk about 13 Sentinels, it's like, oh, I love that game, but it has like a lot of like little story problems and gameplay issues I have with it that like then because like it's really weird of like you ever have that thing of like where the way the internet talks about it, you have to either love it with all of your heart 100% nonstop, or you're a
The Last
hater.
of Us.
Yeah, and it's like one of those weird things of like I hate that everyone out there when it comes to talking about 13 Sentinels is like, play this game, it's the best thing ever, check it out. Whereas like I'm like, oh yeah, dude, pick it up for sure. A, because it's gonna get really rare in a couple of years, and B, because it's like, oh, it's just really interesting. There's not a lot of games out there like it, and it's just a really interesting visual novel. But what's so funny about it is like I remember I had a moment where like, I had to really, really resist myself from being an asshole on Twitter. Of I don't know who the popular person who tweeted this out was. Somebody tweeted out Iori her final line from her story mode, and this is not a spoiler at all. Her final line in the story mode is my least favorite line in the whole game, where she just says,
"Oh, is that the stupid? I'm a girl. I'm gonna get in the
someone tweeted that out and was like, "Oh my god, I love this game. This game's the best." Like, I'm sorry,
I thought it was funny, if I'm being honest, because they were obviously paralleling Evangelion. Like, obviously, that's what it was an ode to.
But it also goes to the thing of, like, I also hate Iori's story. Her story is, like, the weakest in it for me. And, like, her ending, I literally laughed at that line of, like, this is, like, the worst line in the entire game. Like, it is so campy. I know what it's referencing, but, like, it does nothing to add to the story of, like, it was just one of those...
It was just kind of funny.
But it's, like, to end her story off, it's, like, everyone else's story for me in 13 Sentinels ends with like a fuck yeah moment of like, oh my god, I'm ready to go into the final battle. For her, her last line might as well have been, I'm not the school nurse and I got a new boyfriend. Woohoo!
This is unrelated, but I just saw this. GameStop short stock has lost more than like 20 billion.
Oh, you mean the hedge funds who short stock it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If GameStop lost 20 billion, they'd be very screwed right now.
Yeah. It's just fun to watch everything burn, you know.
Thank God. Thank God. Hey, speaking of things that burn, because remember, like I said, we're doing this in reverse. So, now that we've gone on our toys and then visual novel tirade, it's been 8 months. We're now up to Volume 5 of Persona 5, which, shout out to finding a copy for me with that. I gotta just say for you, right now that we're all finally caught up for this, when you were last on, Volume 2 had just come out. So we were still kind of early into it. We hadn't really met Yusuke yet. And sort of like touching base with where you're at now, are you still as positive about the series as you were back then? Like, how's your kind of like rating with it moved in, like whether it gone up, down, stayed the same?
It's like stayed the same. There's some things like it change, like I mean, but the way they handle it, I think they're doing awesome. The direction that they've taken it, I really like. Obviously, I guess spoiler warning for those who don't want it. 5 is basically when Makoto starts catching on to them as the Phantom Thieves and starts following them and starts to really question if the adults in her life are actually moral or if they're unjust, and she starts to understand that really there's something wrong here and that they're not just and that everyone's kind of just lying to her essentially.
By the way, shoutouts to Volume 4's cover just literally being a catfish. I love that Volume 4's cover is Makoto looking all badass where she does not even awaken in Volume 4.
That's funny. Yeah, she awakens in this one too, so we get to see that. It was pretty badass, the way that they unleashed it. The thing about this one, I find this one showed a lot more personality, I guess, like on On's part, because there's a lot of her trying to get that. Remember that one student, like they shake him down, basically try to figure out like how to get to Kaneshiro, how to contact them. They really push her to like make up this stupid lie that she's like needs. Well, she makes it up herself. The stupid lie that that her cat is sick and needs vet bill money like ASAP, and he's just like, yeah, I don't believe you because you could have any job. That was funny, but a little wild. Like they pushed it a little too far, I think. Like they went on a little too long. Like I get what they were trying to do, like to show time had passed, but it was kind of, I don't know. Eh.
I
That part was like, eh.
I've definitely wavered a little bit. My undying praise is still definitely there. I would say if your choice is I don't want to play the game and then should I watch the anime or this, it's definitely still manga, manga, manga. But
Mhm.
yeah, Makoto definitely dragged a lot more than I thought she would, which I was very surprised about because I thought they handled Kamoshida very, very well in the original. I was really, really pleased with how they handled Yusuke's chapter. Like, I thought his whole thing,
His was great.
like, in terms of, like, meeting the character, obviously sweater gag, still 10 out of 10. And, like, the stew scene, like, I tweeted about it, like, a week or two ago, but, like, I was like, the fact that they nailed the hot pot scene, like, even better there than even the show did, I was like, great. Because that hot pot scene, on the surface, doesn't really, like, matter that much in the grand scheme of things, but in terms of like them bonding, it's a great like bonding moment. But yeah, like for me, I don't know what, and obviously the game suffers from this problem as well, but like man, I feel like we could rip an entire chapter out of Makoto like investigating and like, do you get it? All the adults in her life suck. It's like we get it. Like no one is
Yeah.
no one is like no part of Makoto's character development needs her to think that she's like a goody two shoes. Like no part, like everyone around her obviously thinks she's like a brown noser or whatever, but like you could like honestly you could skip out the entire part with the principal, and if you just have that moment of, I think the best way to summarize um Makoto's story for me is that dinner she has with her sister, where her sister really harps on her
Uh,
of like that dinner is like the crux moment of like, because think about it, when she get in one of like the most heartbreaking moments for me always is when she tries to work with the Phantom Thieves and like they basically kind of like backlash at her,
brush her
which
off.
like yeah, and they don't even really need to. She's not thinking of, oh man, all the teachers are going to be so disappointed in me. She immediately just thinks back to her sister and is like, man, like I was just trying to help, like that's all I'm trying to
She
do.
wants to help her sister. Yeah, she knows there's something wrong with her sister. I also found that, like, I don't know, I felt like, specifically, I'm looking at the pages now, where she's, like, eating dinner with her sister. I don't like that they don't show her, like, gasping or anything. I feel like a lot of the pages with her were left, like, just, like, they just forgot to add, like, just a little something, you know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
whether it's, like, a whoosh or a click or, like, a tap, you know what I mean? Like, just an extra noise, like, in this one specifically, I feel like I've seen none of those or little of them.
Yeah, so
Like there's a
like
point where she's taking off shoes and like that would definitely make noise. Like, but it's blank, as if like it's just the art. I guess I'm finding a lot of the pages in this one at least don't have the extra oomph that the last couple ones did.
yeah, which is really surprising, especially because for me in the game, I thought Makoto's chapter is really when the story got started. Like, I loved Yusuke a lot as a character, but, like, that's not the strongest dungeon, especially in terms of storytelling. But, like, the Kanashiro arc, just from beginning to end, I think is really, really strong narratively. And I think there's still a lot of time for them to kind of get in there and have a lot more, like, highlights. Obviously, getting to the palace was still, like, a lot more fun, but it just, like, felt like I felt like we could have finished Volume 4 in the palace. You know, like I just felt like there was a lot of dead air in the middle of like Volume 4 getting to Volume 5.
Hmm. I completely agree. So hopefully we can see like maybe fixing that in the future. But I mean, I guess time will tell. I have up to, I think, the seventh one pre-ordered. I don't think the eighth one's actually up yet,
No,
but you can
volume
pre-order
yeah,
all of them.
Volume 8 literally just got a release date in Japan, so I'm really excited for when we catch up to Japan, because remember, this manga's been being worked on since the game came out in September of 2016. So
Hmm.
this dude, the mangaka who's been working on it, has been working on it for over 5 years. Which, like, honestly, good for him. It's just one of those funny things of, I think, especially for me, as someone who grew up reading a lot of weekly manga, and even for an adaptation, it's just so funny how like the publisher, and I mean, obviously, a part of this is like it's published in a monthly manga, um, So like each chapter is released each month in Japan. And so like what's kind of funny about it is like yeah, so it does sort of work out that like that's as far as he would kind of be, but like volume 8 is going to be about Futaba. So like there's still so much that still has to be done narratively. And I mean, obviously, take your time with it. Like, the Persona 3 and 4 mangas took forever to come out. And I haven't finished those, so I'm not really sure, like, how well they were in terms of adaptation. But, like, for me, I'm still the most excited about when we finally getting the Royal content. I think the Royal characters start appearing in Volume 7 with Kasumi and Maruki. So I'm really, really excited about it, and I know both of us are probably very biased about Volume 6 because we're finally now getting to the point where Goro actually is a part of the story.
Goro, he's the best guy in the show. No, he's not
Also,
really, but
also Volume 6 will be very popular because the entire cover is literally just him.
It's Goro. That they were milking the crap out of that. Someone said, yeah, Akechi's popular, so he's going on the cover. And it's only him, isn't it? It's
just him sitting at a table.
Ah, it's gonna be the best. I hope it's gonna be the best one yet.
You're gonna get one to keep sealed and then one to look at forever.
Well, the thing is, they don't sell manga sealed. Here, it's like it's not wrapped in cellophane or anything like that. It's just
unless it's porn, and then they're sealing it.
Yeah, well, because you don't want to. I mean, they don't sell porn in chapters, but I mean, maybe they do. I'm not 100% sure.
I should be embarrassed to answer this, but yes, they do. Volume 7, man, I forgot actually. Volume 7 is a really, really great one. It's just Futaba holding a LeBlanc cup in front of her computer, but it's actually a really good one. I'm normally not like a Futaba hater, but like I actually forgot. Like, yeah, I feel like for me personally, the covers, like if you're looking at all of them, I feel like the covers are the best when their background is not all red. And like so like for me, I think Volume 1 is easily the weakest cover out of all of them. Just because, like, I never super loved that drawing of Joker. I think 2's great. It, like, sells that,
I like 7. I like the, like, angular... I like when they do different things. I like when it's not just a manga cover.
Well, I mean, and not even that, of just, like, this kind of goes to, like, criticism of Persona art level. Like, a lot of the times they'll just do, here's the character and the red background. Like, I love Volume 3. Volume 3 is, like, one of my favorites of Yusuke and Joker being on the cover. I like 4 a lot, even though it does do the kind of cover image that... Alright, so this is a weird one of... Volume 4 is Makoto, and then her in her Phantom outfit, and then Volume 5 is literally just Makoto and An. I feel like Volume 4's cover should have just been Volume 5, and then there should have been something a little bit more relative, because obviously we mentioned, like, you kind of get catfished for there, but, like, it just sort of doesn't really make sense looking at all of them lined up. Why do we have Makoto on 2 covers back-to-back? And then also, nothing against An, but why is Makoto teaming up with An in Volume 5? Like, nothing really happens with them two specifically, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
But then, see, then I'm, like, in a weird spot of, like, because... The way these kind of work is, like, I feel like at least the structure of each of the manga volumes have been, like, it ends basically right before a dungeon is done. So it's, like, each volume will have to, like, sort of, like, tag it in there with it. So it's, like, even Volume 4, like, you're still finishing Yusuke's dungeon. So, like, I'm just trying to think of, like, if I made Volume 4's cover for Volume 5, I'm trying to think, like, what would be a good alternative... I know what it would be. Just do, like, a colorized version of the Hot Pot thing. Like, that'd be, like, really, really easy. Just, like, all of them, like, say, like, kind of like Volume 2's cover of them on the school roof, but then just
What about them eating and, like, Akira holding, like, fish and chopsticks and Morgana, like, trying to get it? That'd be kind of funny.
Yeah, and it's just, like, one of those things of, like, give more color. Like, I'm aware that the theming of it is, like, red and everything, but, like, don't feel afraid to, like, get very colorful, ironically, in this black and white medium for it. Like, the fact that Volume 7 and Volume 8 have such, Volume 6 and 7 have such colorful backgrounds, I hope they stick with that trend. Like, I enjoy them doing that a lot. So now, it's the million-dollar question in the room. If Volume 8 were at Futaba's Palace, and assuming we get Royal's third semester, how many volumes is the series going to be? Like, this has got to be long.
well over 20 manga long. But then as soon as it's finished, they're gonna skyrocket in price. 'Cause then
Well, see,
everyone's gonna.
my hope is because Persona 3 and 4 ended at volume, I think either 12 or 13. My greatest fear is I really hope they don't rush it. Like, I would hate for them to, like, okay, so this is a weird one. I don't want them to rush and skip over anything, but I'm gonna be honest. If you can find a way to skip over, oh, well, you can't really skip. That's the thing. I hate the Mementos Depths dungeon, and I hate Shido's dungeon. Like, if they could find a way to make those into one dungeon, all happening like on the boat, I would be really, really happy. Just because, like, I don't want to read anything of Mementos Depths as a manga. Like, the idea of reading him freeing everyone from the jail cell sounds like the most boring thing I could ever imagine.
You mean his long speech? Yeah, I feel like a lot of that could be implied. Like, I feel like they don't need to use the speech. I feel like they could imply, like, they could show them breaking free and, like, coming to their senses, kind of. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then they can show it, like, visually. But, I mean, I guess we'll see what they do. I have a question unrelated to podcasts.
Lay it on me.
Do you have any other topics? Just because it's getting late and I don't want to.
No, yeah, we're about to wrap up. I've got like a really tiny amount of questions, and then we're gonna get out of here.
Oh, sounds good. Okay, and then it'll be like 2 hours.
So yeah, like wrapping up like my little thing with it though, because like I'm just thinking about dungeons. Of like, oh yeah, you're right. It could probably get up to 20 even with that, but we have to go to Hawaii. We have to have the whole, like, month of him being, like, hidden after the casino. I feel like the casino is going to be at least 2 volumes long with the before, during, and after of it all.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm excited. The quality did definitely dip in the last couple, like, few chapters for it, but I think Volume 5 definitely got us back up there. And, again, this is all just us killing air. We're just wasting time until we can get the Akechi cover. That's all I want. I might just stop reading them after the Akechi cover, I'm going to be honest. Gab,
really? Is that bad for you?
No, I'm kidding. Gab.
Oh, okay.
Things I'm not kidding about. We should answer some questions and get out of here so we can actually start our weekend. How's that sound?
Yeah, let's do it.
So our first question comes from resident sellout Persona fan, Ozzy. He says, who are you most excited to play as in Strikers when it comes out next month?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Ozzy says, who are you most excited to play as in Strikers?
Ooh, I'm looking forward to playing as Sophie and the new male character that's older, because I really liked his Persona's design. Other than that, give me Akechi, please. I'm just begging at this point. Please, DLC, I'll pay for it. $50 DLC, give me Akechi.
If you had to, like, and I don't know if this is a painful question, are you more, like, would you be sad if you could only have him with Robin Hood or the Dark outfit? Or would you be sad if you could only do Loki or Robin Hood?
I would take either or, baby. Give me both, give me one, give me the other. Just give me him in the game. That's all I need.
Okay.
Then it's perfect game. 10 out of 10. I'm just kidding.
Just wait. It's gonna, it won't get 10 out of 10s, but for me it'll get a 10 out of 10.
It's a 10 out of 10 in Spencer's heart.
Exactly. I don't have a review code yet, but it is a 10 out of 10. Besides that, I mean, for me, and obviously just because I played it, shoutouts to Virgil. Shoutouts to Yusuke, who's basically just Virgil. Skull is amazing, and Haru is an absolute fucking tank. Like, she's just the heaviest of heavy characters. Another question. This one comes from YouTube, because I forget that community postings are a thing on YouTube. Our first question from there comes from person scrolling. Eternal Innocent says, what was your favorite game you played during the pandemic?
So far, favorite game I played. I'm just gonna look at my games list again. That's sorry. Okay. I keep I know people are like, why don't you just keep games? Fuck you. I have a list in a physical book because I'm old. Boomers only.
Makes fun of boomers because it's okay. Also a boomer.
Let me see here. Favorite game I played over the pandemic. So it started about when Animal Crossing came out is when it became intense. Honestly, probably 13 Sentinels. because I haven't beaten all that much, but I'll throw a couple other games in there. Sakuna was really good. Don't buy it on the Switch if you know what's good for you.
One day they'll patch it, Gab. They'll patch it one day.
They're not oh my god, I swear to god, I tag them in every single tweet. I shit talk them where
and
I'm
no
like,
and no
they're
one
never
ever replies to you.
and no one ever replies. They always just say it's only you that's reported it. I'm like, I swear to fucking god, do I have to come to your office and strangle you people so you actually realize that this is a game-breaking glitch? Like, oh, it makes me so mad. And like, they're never gonna send me games through PR because I always just bitch at them.
Oh my god.
So yeah, that one, let's say Xenoblade Chronicles Deluxe Edition was good.
Oh, that was. Even for the
Fatal
soundtrack
Frame
alone.
2, Raido Kuzunoha, those are probably like the ones.
Okay. For me, I don't have like a instant go-to, but I want to give like 2 shout-outs to Call of Duty Warzone and Fortnite just for being really, really good, like, turn my brain off and just socialize with friends games. And also, not a shout-out to one specific game just because I've literally been buying all of them, but just shout-out to all the Dynasty Warriors games. I've been working on this like project leading up into Strikers that I will get into later on the channel, but I've just been playing a whole bunch of them more with my wife and stuff, and it is just so fun just to have a game that I can just play with her for hours on end, and I know that we have hundreds of hours left with each individual game, and neither of us are going to get bored. So like those have been really, really fun to get to.
Okay.
Last questions come from Discord. Shout out to the SMTN Discord. First one is from Matt. Matt says, how do you expect the PC version of Strikers to perform against console? Also, side question, are you planning on picking up the PC version at all, or are you going to go with the PS4 or Switch?
So my original plan was to buy it all 3 versions, and maybe compare them, but then I decided I'm going to get the Switch version because I want the mobility of being able to play that on the go, and because I want to see if it's actually as bad as people say.
It's not that bad. It's really not. And by the way, shout out to that tweet I made. I had no idea how many like I'm aware people like defend and bash the Switch, but like when I made that dumb Strikers tweet with like the garbage like screenshot, I did not think that would get 6,000 likes, and then like I have all these people out there defending and bashing the Switch. It is insane. Of like, and I even put immediately under it, I put play the game wherever you want. It runs great or it runs good enough. It's like there's no bad version of Strikers. It's like,
but see, that's the thing with the internet. It doesn't matter if you clarify or not. People are gonna say whatever they want regardless because it's an open forum.
But like honestly, what I love is like as I read every comment, quote, retweet, or whatever. There are some that are like calling me like a fanboy or whatever, but like nothing is like specifically like, oh, like Spencer, how dare you like post this? Like you're just like baiting or whatever. Like literally, like my whole thought process while posting that was like, Ryuji's face looks dumb, like so I wanted to post it. So like it's just a funny exactly. Like it's like who dude, who cares? Like even if the game like I play games on the Vita still in 2021. I know what garbage ports look like.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you bring up the best point though about like portability can trump over a lot of factors, including frame rate and resolution.
But the main thing I wanted to say is I think the PC version, like most, is going to be the best version. Suck it, haters.
I'm interested to see how it runs on various people's rigs though. That's what I'm curious, because Koei Tecmo doesn't always have the best reputation for having great PC ports at launch. They get there eventually, but I'm not sure how everyone's PC is going to handle it. And next question comes from SSJ4, says, do you think the new characters introduced in Strikers will ever be seen in future Persona 5 games, such as a sequel to Strikers or an arena-like game? Pretty much, I'm just asking if we can finally get a game featuring all 12 Phantom Thieves. Oh, that would actually be really cool. Like, imagine, like, being able to see, like, team-ups between, like, Zenkichi and Akechi. That'd be really cool. But I don't know if we'd get another game, though. Like, clearly what the answer needs to be, Gab, is Persona Q Collection needs to be a real thing, and they fix all of the games, and they put all the characters from all the games and all of them, and then everyone's a little happy, chibi, cute family.
My thing is, imagine if they made bundles for people like us that actually wanted to buy it multiple times. Like, can you imagine if they made a cheaper bundle? How many people would actually spring for that? I think they would.
It sucks because yeah, you're right, they would, but the thing is the platform holders, specifically Nintendo and Sony, will never like
Never
let
worked with
bundles.
each other. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what sucks.
I would say. You know what? Atlas has enough money to fight those fucking battles. Go for it.
Oh, they would lose.
Take Nintendo on.
They would
Take
lose those
Nintendo
legal
on.
battles so fast.
Can you
Uh,
imagine though?
it would
Anyway.
it would be the world's saddest and fastest settlement you've ever seen. The settlement would happen before we even heard there was a lawsuit.
Hmm.
Drippy Ren says, question, what if Persona Strikers sells better than Atlas's expectations? Can you see maybe there being a Persona 5 Arena down the line, or another spin-off for it, similar with the P4 cast? I'm going to be really quick, just because, yeah, I just have always been in the case of don't expect Arena, and I really don't think we're getting another spin-off. But what about you?
I really, really don't think they're gonna make Arena. And if they do, it's gonna be like it's gonna have more than just Persona characters. There's no way they're just gonna keep Persona characters. They would probably, I'd say, if they made anything like Arena, it would have Odin Sphere characters in it, anything Vanillaware, games like Radiant Historia. If they made a fighting game, it would be all their characters from their games. It wouldn't be like a Persona for Ultimax or anything like that. And I do think maybe if it sells well, because they do know Steam and Persona 4 Golden did well, there's a chance they could think about doing something like that. But I don't know, man. It's just been so long, and we haven't seen like Persona 4 characters like in a 3D model in like P5 style. So I mean, like in the dancing games, kind of, but it's not exactly the same, if you know what I mean.
No, yeah, for sure. Like, they wouldn't just take those models and drop them in there.
Exactly. So it'd be really interesting to see how they do the format of the characters and stuff like that in the other style. But I mean, they could do it. They definitely make money off it, especially if they made like a 3, 4, 5 collection that's like all of them and it's all Dynasty Warriors games. People would definitely eat that up.
Oh, man. You get me too excited. Last question comes from Jagingus, whose name I definitely butchered. I'll let you lead off. Do you think it's a good idea for Atlas to remake some of their older SMT games for newer audiences, like SMT 1, 2, and If, and hopefully finally officially bringing them over to the West, not just counting the iOS port? And if so, when would you want them? When would you want the most out of the three, if only one could be made? Sorry, which one? So if it happens, how would you like it to be made? And if you could only get one, which game out of the three would you want?
I'd be happy if we just got some sort of like collection, whether it was like 1, 2, and like If packaged in like a little downloadable only or cartridge limited release. And it is, and for like remakes, I I feel like there's not enough like art or anything like that for them to really go off of the original games, because if I'm being honest, what they've been making their money off of these past few years has been 3, 4, and 5, and that's always how it's been. And I mean, like, it does have to do with the fact that they made these games way back when, you know, they only had certain resources. That's not their fault. But I could never see them selling as well as they did originally. I mean, maybe Persona 2, maybe, because that one I find is interesting because like the pixel art and stuff. But Shin Megami Tensei or Persona 1, ooh, that one's real bad, like real tough to sit through.
Yeah, it's definitely tough. I think like if they like wrapped it up in like a cheapish option without wanting to like break the bank of like, hey, here's like a
Mm-hmm.
anniversary port. Like if you wanted to charge like 20 to like $25 for all three, that could be pretty well. I don't think selling them piecemeal is going to catch as much attention as something like a Persona 4 Golden,
It definitely wouldn't.
just because the audience is not really there in the Western markets. Like there's an audience there for sure, but it's not like people are going to be like, oh my god, Shin Megami Tensei If, I've got to play this. Like SMT If is not going to be on the Steam top seller, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. And I guess the short answer for what they want me, or for what I want as a remake or remaster, I would choose Persona 2, just because I feel like it has the more interesting cast. That, and I mean, like, we've actually seen artwork of them and stuff like that.
Mine would be, and this is very much based on the fact that I've been helping Mako with his SMT2 video. SMT2, the more I ever think about it, is just like the weirdest thing. SMT, if not being released, I kind of get it's a very important game, but at the end of the day, it's still a spinoff or a Gaiden like game. But like imagine if after all these years, Square Enix had still never released Final Fantasy 3 in English. It's like, do you have no respect for your own history? Like, no other company doesn't release a mainline entry without a good reason. Like, it's just like one of those things of like, be proud of your history. Don't like just hide it because, oh, who's gonna play this old Super Nintendo game?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's the one for me. But thank you all for sticking with us through this very, very, very wide spread out topic of an episode. And also, Gab, thank you so much for coming and joining me on this.
Thanks.
So
if you guys, oh, sorry.
No, you're good. You were already about to go where I was saying. Where can people find you?
Oh, I was gonna say, you can find me you can find me in my social medias at GabMew. I have Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube. We just came up on 1.4K subs, so thank you guys so much for that. And we're obviously growing every day, so if you want to check out any of my content, the links I'm sure will be linked down below. And thank you, Spencer, for having me on once again.
Yeah, thanks again for coming on. This is a weird one because I'm recording this so ahead of time. So if you are hearing this on the free feeds, which will be a large amount of you all, this will already be out in February, but I am putting this up earlier on the weekend, still in January, for patrons. So if you would like to get the podcast early along with my other videos early and stuff like that and just help support the podcast and channel, you can go to patreon.com/SMTN. That is patreon.com/SMTN. I'm planning on doing like a Patreon game stream, kind of like I'm gonna play in an attempt to tell people more people that there is a thing. It's kind of weird because like I'm talking about this thing that'll be done by the time this goes up, but I'm recording it beforehand. So who knows? Maybe it goes like really bad, or I don't even do it, and then people are gonna be like, "Well, what happened? Clearly he died over the weekend, but still found the energy to edit this." So who knows? We'll see how the future goes. But man, it is way too late on a Friday night, and both of us have got to get out of here. So thank you all. Descriptions for all of our links and where to find us are going to be in the show notes, so you can check all that stuff out there. Have a good rest of your week, month, February, Strikers month, I don't know, whenever you're listening to this. Just thanks for listening, everybody. Have a good one.
Bye.